Hello everyone and welcome. So this is a 1000 kilometer follow-up review of my new wheels, the Shimano C60 wheels. I've done just over 1100 kilometers now, so I can give you a pretty good review of what they're like to ride. Let's start off with the rims. For the rims, we've done a little over 1000 kilometers. There's a few little scuff marks on there, but on the whole they are okay. When I first put these wheels together and put the tyre on the rim, the spokes in here did start to ping a little, which I guess is kind of normal because the wheel is relieving itself of tension. But rims, really no problem at all whatsoever. Braking performance on these rims is absolutely excellent. Whether it's wet or dry, coupled with Dura Ace brakes, they are fantastic. Move on to tyres. This is a bit of a sore subject really, because tyres on these rims are, what can I say, a bit of a dodgy issue. The reason is these are Continental tyres. Now they're badged as 23mm tyres, but you can see from my vernier that they're almost 25.4. So I wouldn't actually advise going for a tyre that's any bigger than this, because you will just create so much drag. Now these Continental 23mm GP 4000 S2s are really very good on this wheel, so they don't have any trouble at all. They mounted well, and well, yeah, they weren't particularly hard to get on, which suggests the wheel is pretty good in terms of dimensional accuracy. Shimano rear hub, it's got a cup and cone bearing in this side, cup and cone bearing that side, and a couple of intermediary bearings basically between the free hub and the sort of mounting where the spokes go through. Did it give me any problems? None whatsoever. Now in riding, I'd say it's probably slightly noisier than the previous one, the 9000 series, ever so slightly. That might be because the other one has done 100,000 Ks and is well broken in, and this one isn't. But I'm really picking at straws, because the noise compared to a zip hub is completely different. You can hardly hear this thing compared to the zip 177 that's on my 808 wheels. So again, absolutely no issues whatsoever. Front hub, totally uneventful. Again, cup and cone bearings either side. I haven't had to adjust these. There's no play in them whatsoever. So a word on wheel stiffness. Now these wheels are nowhere near as stiff as carbon equivalents because they're essentially aluminium. The advantage with aluminium is the wheel is very comfortable when you ride, so it's less harsh than carbon. But if you're absolutely caning it and going uphill, then there is a bit of flex in the wheel. Am I being picky? I probably am, because they don't touch the brake pads, and the brake pads I've set at 3mm away from the wheel rim, so that's the sort of flex we get, probably about a millimetre and a half when I'm caning it. So in terms of actually going along on the flat, these wheels are great because irrespective of the sort of road surface, they handle the road well, absorb the bumps, and in crosswinds they are certainly controllable. Compared to a Zip deep dish 808 wheel, they're like miles better. You can still ride along. Compared to a Shimano C35 wheel, so the next section below, they're slightly worse, but it's not in the sense that you can't control the bike anymore. So there are some negative points to these wheels, and I guess the biggest one is their weight. They are quite heavy. Because they're heavy, accelerating the wheel is actually quite troublesome, especially away from traffic lights, which is where I predominantly use these wheels, which is commuting. Also, going up hills, you do notice the weight difference on these wheels, so that's another negative. The other aspect is, I don't know if it's really a negative, but it's just a matter of fact. The bearings that these wheels use are proprietary Shimano cup and cone bearings. Because of that, when they wear out, you're basically held to ransom by Shimano for buying new ones, compared to other wheel manufacturers and other hub manufacturers where you can just go and buy bearings off the shelf. The sort of counter argument to that is they don't really wear out. So if you watch one of my other videos, you'll see I did 100,000 kilometers on a set of Shimano wheels without really ever greasing the hubs or anything like that. So you've got one advantage in one hand and a negative in the other hand. To talk a bit more about the bearings, I thought I would actually illustrate what the difference is between, I guess, your standard hub and a Shimano hub. So what I've got here is basically what a standard bearing from any other wheel manufacturer looks like, any other hub manufacturer. This is actually slightly bigger, but it's a standard ball bearing, and this one's sealed, so that's what those black things are. If you were to take those seals off, you would have something that looks like this. So this is a ball bearing. You can see the balls in there. This is basically bigger. Balls in there, the cage is in there, and it spins like that. Okay, so that's a standard deep groove 6000 series ball bearing. A Shimano bearing is more akin to this, which is called an angular contact bearing. So the first thing to note is this, which is the inner race, has a bit of play in it. And it can only take load actually in one direction. So if you were to hold the bearing in the wrong direction, well, this is the correct direction, and spin it, it's quite smooth, but doesn't spin forever. Put it the other way, spins forever, but makes a noise. Now the Shimano system is to use two of these, one in either side. The only difference on the Shimano one is the balls are not contained, so you can just take the balls out and yeah, they're free to go anywhere, whereas on this bearing they are constrained. But this is an angular contact bearing, so you've got some play in there, and that's what preload is there for, to take that out. So there's two of these, one on either side. The disadvantage to this type of system is it inherently has more friction than that. Now, this isn't really a very fair test, but it's just to describe the difference between the two. So you've got ball bearing, which is like your Zip or DT Swiss, and angular contact bearing, which is the Shimano one, albeit a proprietary version of it. This one will always have more friction. This one won't. So that concludes this review. I certainly hope you enjoyed it. I've got more content on my channel, Hambini Performance Engineering, and my website, hambini.com. Please hit that subscribe button, and if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you didn't like the video, please hit the dislike button, and if you've got any comments, questions, whatever, then please use the comment box below. Thank you very much, and until next time.